Hi, everybody. This is the Supporter Hashtag Creatives podcast. Today is Monday, January 15th. And here we are. And our guests tonight are filmmakers Bridgette Stevens and Briana Marshell Bernal. Hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Yes, hello, hello. Thank you, Alan, for having us. We're excited to be here tonight.
Yeah, so great to have you here. Been looking forward to this. So why don't we start off? Well, I'll start off by introducing myself, and then we'll have the two of you have your introductions. So I'm the founder of the organization Supporter Hashtag Creatives. Our goal is to level the playing field for underrepresented creators and artists so that have the same opportunities as everybody else to have their projects made and seen. I'm also on the board of directors of the Bella Levy Foundation. The goal of the Bella Levy Foundation is to fight human trafficking and provide a safe haven for its warriors. And we'll be talking some more about that tonight. So, Bridgette, why don't you briefly introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Bridgette L. Stevens. I am from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. I am a true Georgia peach. I have grown up in the arts. I've done everything from singing to writing to dancing to some of everything. And I just, in 2020, it brought me back to my love when I had to sit still and social distance during the pandemic. And that's how me and Briana met, through me just trying to reignite um, my love and my zeal for the arts. I was involved in an accident in 2017 that shifted my life a little bit, that caused me to kind of be unable to work like I used to. And so, sitting at home, not doing a lot and just trying to refigure my purpose here. And so I stepped out on faith, took an acting class on at Amazing Grace Conservatory. It was a virtual class, and I wanted to see if I still had it, and found out I had something else going on, and I met Briana there, and that was probably the best, part of that journey of just trying to find my passion yet again.
Okay. Okay, Briana?
Hi. So I am Briana Marshell Bernal. I am from Long Beach, California, and I have also been in the arts and industry since I was a little girl. In 2010, I did a TV show called Dance Your Ass Off that was on Oxygen. And after that, kind of took a brief hiatus from the industry, and just jumped into motherhood, became a wife, had children. And again in 2020, like Bridgette said, went into an acting class, just trying to ignite my passion. My children were and fell in love with acting and the arts in general, acting, singing, dancing. And there was an adult class offered. And so I said, hey, mommy's going to take the class too. So we were all just kind of figuring out how to join back into the industry in 2020. And that's when we were in class at Amazing Grace Conservatory, like Bridgette said, with Miss Wendy Raquel Robinson. And she challenged us to write a monologue. And after I wrote that monologue, Bridgette kind of sent me a message like, hey, let's write something off of this. And I was like, I am not a writer, not at all. That's not what I do. I'm here to act. And so lo and behold, she helped me find something inside of me that I didn't even know that I had. And so here we are together now, 4 years in the game, and
Wow.
over 40 projects. So we are excited and about our journey and where we're going.
Nice. Yeah. Those 2020, those pandemic times was led to a lot of people reconfiguring their lives. And
Definitely.
Yeah.
and it also showed that being able to work productively without being in a particular location also works. So That's people might have been skeptical about, but it's proven that you can get job done working remotely. As
Yes.
two of you work across the country from each other, and you get these things done.
Yes,
That's
we
great.
do. Yes, we do.
Yeah,
We took
exactly.
virtual to a whole nother level.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, right. Matter of fact, all those got me the opportunity to see a lot more film festivals than I would have been able to with all the film festivals I'm going to, the being online, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it was really great.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you I would always like people to know how people find me, how did you find me?
Well, we have again taken virtual to a whole level, and I was on a YouTube one night, and I actually came across one of your videos, and I said, "Hey, Bree, listen, look, let's check into this guy. He's creative, supportive. He's supportive to the creatives, and so we didn't really move on it. Then we seen you in a webinar, and we was like, okay, it's this. Then we need to just reach out and see what happens. So we went and we found your website, and we just did some, reading and just getting to know you via your blog, and that's kind of how we found Mr. Allen. In
Right.
that way. And so, I didn't think it was irony that we, kind of went full circle with you. So, yes.
Yeah, yeah, right. That was the recent event that was moderated by Okima T. Moore. That
Yeah.
when she mentioned me during that. Yeah,
Yes.
I've been working with her for a very long time. So
Wow.
Amazing. Amazing.
yeah,
She's doing some amazing work out here.
yeah. So, yeah. So well, why don't we start by talking about the main topic of night, lowest places? Tell us the whole story, the inspiration for it, and we'll go through the whole process about how it came to be. So take it away.
Okay. Well, so again, in that class, I had wrote a monologue, and the character's name was Rhonda. And Bridgette reached out and said, "Hey, I have something that I've been working on for years that I think would go great with this." And so she could tell you a little bit about how Lowest Places Lost Time came in, because we kind of just adapted the name she already had, and that was something that she had on her own. And then we started to collaborate and intertwine characters with what I had created and kind of build on that. So do you want to tell a little bit about where the original Lowest Places came from?
Yes, I can do that. So it was inspired. I grew up in church. I grew up, I probably was at church before I was born. And so I watched the caliber of ladies that are considered first ladies, which is the wives to the pastors, and I just see that they carry themselves so elegantly. And it wasn't until I got a little older to see that we're all dealing with something that we may be struggling with. So the original character, Elena, she dealt with a past of being a victim of human trafficking, as well as being sold into human trafficking by her own mother. And we just watched this young lady struggle through her double lifestyle. And she was a first date lady by day, but was struggling at night with the skeletons that she dealt with in the past. That it was kind of a part of the territory, came with the territory. So, needless to say, I wrote it and just let it kind of sit for a minute, and then 2020 came, and I found Rhonda via Brianna's monologue, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's dope. That's dope." So I had to collaborate. I had to push her like I needed to push as well, and we've kind of pushed each other, in ways that we didn't think we could.
And Rhonda was kind of, and it's funny, Rhonda was actually created in my sleep because
Hmm.
I'm such a procrastinator, right? But I'm always a creative, right? So my mind is always going. And um I started thinking about my clients that I work with on a daily. I am a social worker in the county that I live in. And I have worked with women who have been victims of what we call CSEC, which is commercially sexually exploited children, as well as just women who are working in my field who have gone through things as well, right? And I always say, you know, when I'm working with these families, like, because I have kids and I'm a mother, one mistake can make me go on the other, can cost me everything, and I can be on the other side. And so that's kind of where Rhonda came from, was a person in my caliber, in my shoes, who knows all the rights and the wrongs and who helps people, but she ends up on the other side and begins to go through her past trauma, and it comes out through the character Rhonda. And so with that, we started creating Lois Places Lost Time, and Lois Places Lost Time was originally a web series because it was me, Bridgette, and one other person. Her name is Chanel Young. And it was just us three. You know, we were in the pandemic. Chanel's in North Carolina, Bridgette was in Atlanta, and I was in Long Beach, California. We're like, we're going to do this. And so it originally was a setting in a prison setting because I remember that therapy had turned to virtual at that time. So we were like, oh, well, we could just make the therapist be in a virtual setting. She can't go in the prison and see her clients, so let's make her in a virtual setting. And so we had one therapist who would meet these two inmates, and they were both having virtual inmate settings, but Elena was just introduced to the prison. Rhonda had been there because of her story. And so if you've watched Lois, you know Rhonda's story. And so with that, we started going into Clubhouse, and we started taking other scripts into Clubhouse. It wasn't Lois that we took because Lois was already created. It was a web series at the time. So we started taking other scripts of ours into Clubhouse and met with a group. We were meeting Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. We were meeting like 3 times a week, just reading scripts, right? Just actors and creatives just honing in on their craft and practicing, because we had nowhere else to go but to be on Clubhouse, right? And so, and I remember we were working from home, and people were working from home, and like, hold on, my boss came in. It was so much happening, but it was so much commitment to reading these scripts. And so we started taking our work inside, and people started saying like, oh my gosh, we love your work. So we would come in, we would keep coming in, and we were excited. We had, at that point, we started having a little like fan base. So we were like super excited about everybody and taking our work in there. And we're like, okay, you know, they were making us feel good. We didn't know how good we were, but they were making us feel really good. Yeah. And so then the world opened up, and these same group of people who had made it through to this time, they were like, let's take it from Clubhouse and let's create something together. And that was the first time that we actually started trying to hone in on everybody's craft and what they can do inside the production realm. And we started to find DPs. We started to find graphic designers. We found directors. We found some amazing actors and actresses. We found PAs. And all of us got together in 2022. They all flew themselves. And when I say they were from North Carolina, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Massachusetts, New York, from everywhere, came off of Clubhouse. And it could be a script in itself because we were all strangers. We still had never met each other. Okay? We were going to get together. Flew themselves to LA. We did a little GoFundMe, raised some funds and had some support. And we locked in some locations with the GoFundMe, and everybody came and put their craft in and worked for free. They got in the gutter and worked because they wanted this to happen. And that's how Lois Places Lost Time, the film, was birthed. Once they said, let's take it from Clubhouse, me and Bridgette went in and started building a script around everybody that was willing to come to LA and commit. And because we were the writers, we could do that. And so we were able to create characters for everybody that wanted to be a part of the project. And that's what we did. And we got together and we shot that film in 4 days in LA.
Mhm.
It was 50.
I
How
want
many
to say
pages?
it was 58 scenes and 52 pages, I want to say. In
4 days. In
4 days.
4 days. If you know anything about filmmaking, that was crazy. It was crazy, but it was fun. It was the most tiring, but it was the most rewarding. And after that, in October of 2023,
It was 2022.
oh,
Mhm.
2022. So everything happened so fast, right? July 2022, we shot the film. October 2022, we had our first in-person premiere in Philadelphia. And July 2023, Lowest Places was streaming on Tubi, which is where you can find it now on the platform called Tubi.
Nice. Yeah. Was that 4 days in a row or 4 weekends?
No,
No,
4 days.
4 days in a row.
Oh wow. Oh, that's really well.
We had about
That's a lot
25
of
people
stamina.
come out, and we literally were meeting for the first time, and just kind of, outside of the virtual setting, we were seeing in person for the first time. And, I don't know if we even had time to like sit and really get to know each other, because I tell people all the time, so the minute my feet hit the ground of California, we were working. And so it was just, an it was an amazing process, because at the end of the day, we're all creatives. We were all actors, we were all singers and things of that nature. And so to be on the opposite side of the camera was an amazing feat for us, because we were really like like the three blind mice. We were just following each other, and we really didn't know what we were doing on that end of things. But when I tell you, it made for some great content.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, first of all, Clubhouse definitely during that time was. I mean, that would the reason for forming Clubhouse, I think, was the pandemic, and that was the place where people had to go at the time to to get together. And I've been involved with a lot of Clubhouse rooms at one time, and it makes a lot of sense. Then things started opening up, of course, and then so people didn't have as much need for Clubhouse after that particular time. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's see, did you in did you have tell us about finding locations for the film?
Okay. So Bridgette is pretty much, even though she's not in California, she's like the when I say the most, she does admin the best that I've ever seen in the world. Like that girl, Bridgette can find, and if anybody needs admin or any kind of production or anything, Bridgette is your go-to, because she will find everything. Okay. So with locations, we use well, Bridgette, you want to talk about how you found locations and what the method? Like, yeah. Why don't you do that? Because that's really,
And
yeah.
so basically, I was on the internet and just was Googling, as Google is our friend, and I came across a platform called Geekster, which is like the Airbnb of events and productions and filming and things of that nature. And I started doing some research and just kind of like looking to see what we needed. And this is coming from someone who is novice about the production side of things, right? And so I just literally was like reading the script every day and making sure that I'm not forgetting a location, because at the time I didn't even know how to break a script down. And so literally I started doing it. I said, "Hey, Brianna," I said, "I found this website. It got locations that we may be able to, afford reasonably." And so we adopted her dad and her mom and her whole family, and they just really kind of help with, helping her go out and look at the locations and make sure she's safe as a female, um, out in the streets by herself. We didn't want her out there like that. So, dad went with her, mom with her. Our DP, if he was available, he went with her, because he's one of our DPs are in LA. And so, needless to say, I just said, "Hey, let me converse with these individuals who's over these properties and set up some time for you guys to go out and check it out. And by that time, I was like all in with Gigster. I said, "Oh yes, this is a new place for me." So yeah.
Yeah, and outside of Gigster, it was also about our network and just making sure that we reached out to people that we knew had locations that we needed. We utilized some of my family's homes. We utilized the churches. I have a cousin who has a church, so we utilized him. Just utilizing people that we knew, and I think that was in our advance. We also utilized a nightclub, so those were some things that we had already at our reach as well, is just utilizing people that we've already connected with and networked with, and so that helped as well outside of Gigster.
Definitely.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so the church, I mean, that you filmed inside an actual church, it looks like to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But what about the jail scenes and the prison scenes?
So if I tell you my secret, Alan, those are secrets. No, but honestly, we're here to help other creatives, right? Well, this is support the creative. It's really about your camera angles and really what that was, because some of them were. It was never a jail, FYI. It was not one time was it a jail, but it was really about angles and things that we can play with inside the locations that we got. So one was a rec center, and it's really like an after school program for kids, but it's an older building. And my husband, when he grew up over there, they knew him as a kid, so we kind of got a deal there because he was a part of the after school program, his family. So it was one of those things. And then like the therapist's office was actually like in my brother's home. It was a bedroom, and we emptied it out and made it look like a prison. So because a prison is very empty, it's nothing in there. So at the end of the day, it wasn't hard to maneuver the angles, but that's really what that was. They weren't. It wasn't a prison.
Yeah. Well, I kind of had a feeling, but it's always interesting to me to know how you make people think that you're in a different location than you actually are. Yeah. One of these things, a tidbit I want to throw in, is in Howard County, Maryland, which is close where I live. They have what's called the old Howard County Courthouse. Mm-hmm. And they rent that out for people who are interested in just about anything. You have jail cells there, you have courtrooms, and you have all kinds of offices that you can make into anything, like a bank or something like that. So that's a very popular place for people to go to locations. And so if anybody is in Howard County and is interested in or the area of Howard County, Maryland, and interested in locations, check out the Howard County Courthouse.
Good to know.
Yeah.
we have people that way. So
yeah.
We have people that way. So we may be, never know where we may be shooting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I've had a couple of opportunities to be in the Howard County Courthouse when I was on set. So I've seen that being done. Really amazing. Yeah. One time I was watching a screening of a film, and I could right away I said, "Oh, that's the old Howard County Courthouse." I recognized the courtroom, so the fact that I had been there before. So that's what I do. I try to figure out, where exactly are things being done, and is it being done in a real place, like a real house, or is it on some kind of a set? So we're always trying to figure that out. I like all that behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, I can't watch a movie now without IMDb
Pro.
My wife and I, we are always looking for stuff like that, as well as things that like dead giveaways, like seeing palm trees when you're in Detroit, or maybe or even maybe seeing that the trees, the leaves on the trees was kind of out of season for what the season was supposed to be. Like that.
Yeah, it's summer, but it looks like fall leaves, right?
Yeah. So okay. So now, did you do your own editing?
No. So in our crew, yes. Our editing is actually done by our DP with the help of our director, Courtney Lene and the DP Darren Hawkins. They did the editing together. Darren did most of the editing. Courtney would just pretty much guide him like what looks good, what doesn't at the end of the day. But they were very much a team when it came to that. And and then working with sound and everything. So when I say like this group of creatives that we met were amazing because we had it all. We had it for everything from pre-production to post-production. And really the only thing we needed was funds for locations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it is so excellent that you managed to come up with this. It's a great crew to handle the whole process of making a film.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they actually took a lot of the load off. Like we were premiering with everyone else when we seen the premiere, because our director and our DP said, we got it, y'all relax, y'all have done enough, because we're so used to just whatever we need to do to progress along, we're going to either learn how to do it, and we would take a couple of hours and we'll learn it, and then we'll try our best to to put it together. So we've mastered just getting it done.
Yeah. And like Bridgette said earlier, she didn't, when we first did this project, she didn't know anything about breaking down the script. So what came next? She took a line production class. So now we have line producers inside. We have everything. We have it all now. She does the line production. She does the budgeting. She breaks it down. She does scheduling. She's great at, and we all have what we're good at, right? And so just working as a team has been just the goal here, and working as a team and getting it done, the get it done mindset. Well, we needed COVID compliance. During the time we still needed COVID compliance. So I went and took a course to become a COVID compliance officer. So we didn't need to hire one, my next thing is becoming an intimacy coordinator. That's my next goal. It's so that I don't have to hire that. I have my own courses, and so just becoming that team that can do it all, and still delegating. But when there's a certain task that needs to be done, I knew how to do script supervising. I did that previously. So we've just been making sure that we had everything that we needed, and if we didn't, we knew how to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. And I know intimacy coordinators is kind of, I don't know if that's sounds like a new thing. Haven't heard about that until fairly recently.
Okay. Yeah.
It's fairly new to the industry. It's a new thing, because from what I've learned is, sometimes you just need a professional on set to kind of help the chemistry,
and then to help to feel safe when doing certain things.
Mm-hmm. Because you just never know the person's background and what triggers them and things of that nature, mentally and emotionally. So we just try to make sure, we create a safe space for everyone as well. So, we do what we can to make sure, everyone feels safe. Like she said, she's COVID compliant, and everyone, we knew what to do. When it came down to it, we had questionnaires for our extras. We made sure tests were taken, and so we just really it's amazing to look back and see how much we actually got accomplished in that time. It is.
I was laughing because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you know how many times my daughter, so her school was giving out COVID tests. And so they would give them so many a week. So we knew we were shooting. So I would have her bring all the COVID tests home, and I would stack them up. So I had stacks and stacks of COVID tests to make sure that we had enough for set.
Go get another bag. Yes, we had enough too. Yeah. We did not run out. Yeah.
Well, as long as the expiration date doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk about shopping the lowest places around, and getting it onto the platform that it's on today. And what platform is it on right now?
It's on Tubi.
On Tubi. Okay, cool. Yeah. So what was the process you had to go through to get it on Tubi?
Ooh, a headache. But but we landed where we needed.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Gosh. Go ahead.
Oh man. So Alan, we went through a lot, okay, because we ended up falling in distribution. Thank you, Homestead. Shout out to Homestead. That's where we're at now. Current Homestead is our current distribution company. But prior to Homestead, we did every route. We tried to put Lois in film festivals, got turned away. Then we tried to put Lois in. Then we had another distribution company that held on to Lois for a few months because they said Lois was too good to go on Tubi, and they did not want to put it on Tubi.
Oh.
And so we're like, okay, well, if it's that good, here we are. But it wasn't going anywhere. So we held on to that. And so we had to really just, come together and decide, like, what do we want for Tubi? And so long story short, we ended up, after going through the festival routes and not landing there, we ended up going to distribution, submitting to Homestead Entertainment, and we got the call that they accepted our film. And from there, we signed our contract, and that's where we are now. And we are getting ready to do Lois Places 2 in March this year. Yeah. We are gearing up for that. We are in pre-production for Lois Places Lost Time Part 2, and we are excited about it. The team is coming back together.
We're excited too.
Yeah, so Homestead people, remember that name in case you want to get things distributed. So, yeah,
definitely.
Okay,
they're a very amazing team. They communicated. It wasn't, they have an open door policy, so we can call and say, hey, we need to, can we get the numbers to this? And they'll say, okay, yeah, let me look it up, and so they're very, very transparent, because unfortunately sometimes distribution companies aren't the most transparent. So I am very grateful for Homestead for being,
and we know that distribution isn't everybody's forte. We've heard the good and the bad about distribution. For Lois, distribution with Homestead worked. And and I will just say, you just go with what you feel works for your project.
Yeah. You mentioned about you did some fundraising for Lois. Is that right?
Yes. The first time we did fundraising, we did it through Indiegogo. And we did fairly well there. And I think we are now doing the second time we're doing it through GoFundMe. We're trying GoFundMe to see how that works, because we realized that with GoFundMe, it was a tax write-off for some people, and they could get it. It is a platform where you can get tax write-offs from it. And so we felt like that might work better for some of our contributions.
That's interesting about the tax write-off. How do you make that happen on GoFundMe?
On GoFundMe, particularly because of the type of platform it is, they the contributor can ask for a receipt that shows the amount that they've contributed, or given as a charitable amount, and depending on the amount it is, tax wise, that's the IRS right there. So I don't too much know how much of the percentage that they, the write-off, gears them. But yeah, that's the good thing about GoFundMe.
Okay, that's great. I'm just glad that there's going to be a part 2. Without giving anything away, I'll just say we need a part 2.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it.
We get so many fake phone threats, like, where's the rest of it? Like,
is this all? Is this what you had me watch? This is
it. Yeah, so we have people like, when is like, I actually got a call from someone like, now that the strike is over, when is the next part coming out? I was like, we're working on it, but yeah, everyone's ready for it. So we're giving the people what they want.
Yeah. So in all the projects, have they all been in the indie realm? All your projects you've been working on?
Yes. Everything has been, Projects that we can speak about, yes. Other projects, we don't know where they're going. I don't think they're in the indie realm, but the ones that we can speak on that we've produced, that we have our hand in, they've all been in the indie realm. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting to know. So, I mean, do you have any projects, for example, that are just in development right now that you don't really know which route you're going to take? Or is that something that you have to consider?
No, sometimes we are, out in the game of industry and being independent and getting your name out there. Sometimes as writers, we would have to write scripts, and they consider ghostwriters, and so at the end of the day, just no credit, no nothing, but we're here. And where they're gonna go, we don't know. So, it's just those are those type of projects. But the ones that are in development, we are gonna everything that's in development for us is going to be our hands are in them. So yes.
Oh, okay.
They will go the independent route unless a big studio comes. But I think that me and Bridgette, we love the independent route. We like to have our hands in. We like to
be dirty.
Yeah, we like to be able to say who we want to cast, who we want to direct. We like to be able to keep our content without having to clean it up. You know what I mean? Because some things that we talk about are not going to be pretty, and we don't want to water it down because we want to tell the stories. And if we're going to tell somebody's story, we want to tell the story the way it's supposed to be told. And it's not always pretty.
Yeah. So that's great. Yeah. In my case, all the projects that I've been involved with have also been in the indie area. So this is comparison. Yeah.
I love hate for indie, but like she said, at the end of the day, we have a say so on how far. It's almost like you write the narrative. And I was telling someone this the other night, where you kind of write the narrative of how you want things to go at the best of your ability from this end of the film industry, the indie end of the film industry. So yeah, you just have a lot more say so, in what you want to do creatively, and also on the business logistics side of things as well.
Yeah. Yes, very interesting take on that. Makes sense. Yeah. So let's talk about Pure Bliss Studios. Tell us how you got together to found the studio.
Okay, well, Pure Bliss Studios was actually originated, I want to say 2010-ish. I was originally a spoken word artist as well, and I will also be writes short stories, in a chapter book type way. And so I would use Pure Bliss as my actual pseudonym. I was kind of like Dr. Seuss. I was Pure Bliss, And so Pure Bliss Studios came from that. It was more of a, like a platform for my writing, my literary writing. And then, like I said, once 2020 hit and things move fairly fast for us. Someone said to us, like, we won't let a fly land on us because we always going to keep moving. So once things start to move, I said, hey, let's figure out what to do and try to have Pure Bliss a Georgia-based production company as well as a California-based production company. So I went in and I again researched, figured out how I needed to file that, and it got filed. And so we now use Pure Bliss as a full-fledged production company, as a one-stop shop for even other creatives who maybe say, hey, I need someone to look over my script and do some editing. I need some help with my dialogue. I need some help with principal photography. I need some help, whatever it is that we can do that within our network, because everyone in our network just want to work. They're passionate about the art. They just want to work. And so we wanted to become a one-stop shop, and that's what we're inspiring to do as well, because we know that journey for independent artists. And sometimes you could search and search and search, and it can be weeks on end before you find the answer that you're looking for. So we just don't want to be gatekeepers either. We want to, educate as well as help out where we can, and also build that network in the same token.
Yeah. That's a great being the one-stop shop. So that you take on other people's projects and help them through it, as in addition to, of course, your own projects going on.
Yes.
Yeah. So you mentioned some of the services that you offer there. So you offer, and so basically, it sounds like you offer services in the whole life cycle of a project.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the phases.
For everything. Yep.
Yeah. Even to helping them shop it around, to get them right. That's also So from the very development and everything, very good. Oh, that's great. So,
we just like to develop the relationships. That's one thing about the indie film is developing those relationships with people. And so with that being said, again, that's also expanding our network there as well as whomever path cross with ours, so
yeah. So once again, Pure Bliss Studios LLC. Keep that in mind when you're for creatives out there.
Yes,
most definitely.
Yeah. So you incorporated. I don't know if incorporation is the right word in Georgia instead of California, because is that right?
The origin is Georgia, and it has a foreign filing for the LLC for California.
Oh, okay.
It follows the laws of Georgia, and can also it follows tax laws of both states. So as far as annual registration, taxes, and things of that nature, each satellite location handles the taxes for that state. But the main, how the model of the business is built on the state laws of Georgia.
Okay. Yeah. I know when you come up with your own business like that, it's very important to know that stuff like that.
Yes.
LLC. Yep. Fantastic. Yeah. Let's see. So, let's talk about having so-called name people in projects. In quotation marks. I mean, I've worked with projects that are like that have a name person in it, and definitely, I don't think there can't be any downside to that. Is it? Is there having a name?
Oh my gosh. So that is why you scratching your head like that, Bridgette? Having a name in a project, there's no downside to it. Let's be clear. The only thing is being able to afford that name talent, right? And so but I feel like honestly there are some perks, right? Because when you have a team that just wants to work and they are also great talent, but they don't have a name yet in the industry, you can take those funds and pay for that name talent, because when you have a team like ours who would just want to work, sometimes people just want to be in a project with that name. And so taking your funds that you've raised and put it towards the name sometimes may be in your benefit, right? Also, having a name talent can help you get more funding, right? Because what we've run into is we will have the names, but we don't have the letter of intent, right? And then you go to a funder and you're like, I have the names, and they're like, well, show us an LOI. And it's like, well, they didn't sign an LOI, but I promise you I have the name. So sometimes there's a downfall with that, because we have built the relationships. We have relationships with name talent. And because we've done our networking, right? We have it. But, again, it's like when you go reach out to somebody who can fund the project and you need that LOI, it's like you need something else from that name talent. And sometimes people don't want to give that letter of intent because they don't want to commit without knowing that the funds will be there. And so that's kind of the thing that you run into as an indie person. So Yeah, indie person, an indie filmmaker. But those are some of the downfalls. But other than that, having a name talent can't hurt you. It definitely can't hurt you, not at all.
Hurt you, not at
Right.
all.
Yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, as I said, I've been in projects where that situation has happened though. So I totally agree. That makes total sense. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just want to give a shout out to Tiara Williams, who's I'm glad that she has managed to watch today. Tiara and I have worked together for a long time. She has an organization called the Real Network, REEL. She's based in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
We'll have to look for you. Let's connect. Definitely.
We're here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So tell us what are some of the projects that you have currently in various phases of of the life cycle?
Ooh, nitty gritty. Okay, so I'm gonna. If I can rattle them off my head. Okay, so we have Lowest Places that is in pre-production. It is shooting set part 2 in March, like we mentioned earlier. Shooting here in LA, part 2. So excited about our team getting back together. Our next project is Not Broken, and that one is also in pre-production. It's currently one of our highest projects that needs most funding at this time, which is why it's sitting there. It also has some name talent attached, and it is that thing where, hey, hit us up when the funding is right. We have some pretty good names there, and looking to lock in some bigger names once we could get these other names locked in. We have Finding Mommy. And so Not Broken is a crime action drama. What do we categorize that one as?
It's action drama.
Action drama. It's so funny because we go through, we're like, should we do crime drama? Can we do? So we did. It's Not Broken is an action drama. Finding Mommy is a psychological thriller. It's amazing. It's super exciting too. That one also has name talent attached, but it also needs funding. It's probably the second highest. Then we have one that's called Therapist, but it's spelled THE_RAPIST.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, because and it's also a psycho thriller. So we've got people saying, "What, the rapist?" But no, it's Therapist. So that's another one.
But it just makes you look at them differently, just a little bit.
Yes. So these are all in pre-production. So those are the ones that so far. Those are the top four right now. We have other ones that are kind of that can always be ready to go. Comedy, family comedy, Family Mission is already ready to go. Rebooted Time, which is another comedy, always ready to go. We have Organ Dreams, which is a horror film. It's ready to go. So we have a list, Alan. I don't want to. We have a list. We always have projects ready to go. We have a pilot. We have a whole anthology. Which is a sci-fi anthology. We have a pilot, and we have podcasts. We have what is that? It's called Erotica Podcast. We have it all. We have literally scripts. We have everything. This is what we do.
And we're currently working on Holiday.
And Holiday is our new thing. So we have 2 holiday scripts that are in the can that we're working on right now. And
very popular.
One other
holiday things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all these projects you mentioned, are these originated by you, or are those projects that other people apply to your company to have made?
No, these are all the ones that are originated by us.
Okay.
The ones that other people that we have, I did not mention those just because there's some projects we can't speak on.
Okay.
But yeah, those are all originated by us. A lot of them are come from telling true stories as well. They all have a social conscious message within them. We do that, and so and again, distribution is always attached because once we're part of the Homestead family, we are a part of the Homestead family. So like I said, it's just a matter of let's get it done, and so this is the year of get it done, and so those. Hopefully that's the order. We'll be starting to get it done. But it can shift, but we, that's what we like.
Nice. But the lowest is part 2 is the first
It's the
top
first
priority.
time,
Right?
March.
Yeah.
Yep. 2 months.
We
2 months.
Woo. Time-
Oh, it's it. I'm so glad. Everybody's glad. I'm sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget to watch Lowest Places on Tubi. Don't
Yes,
forget,
Lowest Place is also
everybody.
on Tubi.
Yeah,
And we
you'll
will
be
know if
blown
you didn't
away.
watch it all the way through. We will know. You
Oh yeah, we can see the impressions. So go watch it because we can see it. We can see it now.
we just know it by the response. We promise you, we know by the response. We get a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of,
true.
we get a lot of little. Really, y'all gonna do that? So yeah, so we know.
That's right. Of course. Of course. That makes sense. You know how many clicks there are and everything. So,
Yes.
yeah. Cool. Okay. So, what's the best way for people to reach you?
They can reach us at Pure Bliss Studios on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as TikTok. I forget we have a TikTok. Also, we have a website, www.pureblissstudiosllc.com. And you can reach us by email at team@pureblissstudiosllc.com.
Okay. I guess if they go to the website, they'll be able to find where they can send out an email. So that's good. So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So going to there is probably the best place to go. Go right
Yes.
to the Pure Bliss Studios website.
And also, just personally, we do answer our personal as well. You know, Facebook, Briana Marshell Bernal, pretty simple. Instagram, BRE0506. And I have a TikTok that I don't check out. And I'm like, what? It's like film producer Bree too on TikTok. But yeah, I mean, if you type Briana Marshell Bernal, it would always come up. So
Good.
it's
Yeah.
simple. Bridgette,
Yeah.
you want to give your handles out?
Yes. I'm going to type mine in the chat. This is a little difficult.
Okay.
But on TikTok, it is Just Clean Chemistry. That's my personal. We also, like I said, we're over there on Pure Bliss Studios. We have a channel on TikTok. My name is Bridgette L. Stevens here on Facebook, so that you can find me there. And on Instagram, it is the letter B _BE _ soapin without a G, writing without a G. Is a lot because I actually make homemade soaps too on the side. So I do a lot.
Oh, so that's where that
Creatives.
comes. Yeah. But hopefully if they type in Brenda L. Stevens, it'll pop up.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You can
Okay,
pretty much
good.
connect to me somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is great. I think we had a great discussion tonight. People learned a lot about lowest places, filmmaking process, what your company, Pure Bliss Studios LLC, does. It's
Mm-hmm.
really, and I'd like to thank you for being here. Any last words before we wrap it up?
Oh, also follow our Lowest Places Gmail, Lowest Places Film. It's on IG. And we also have a YouTube page and a Facebook. So it's Lowest Places Lost Time everywhere. That's where you can keep up with the updates on where we are in the process, behind the scenes.
Go
If
fund me.
you know, if you want to be an extra, and you
You're in
live
LA. Come on down.
yeah. And
Yeah.
we also have an email for that. It's also lowestplacesfilm@gmail.com. So,
Okay. So can people get to the GoFundMe from your website or
from Instagram, yes. Mm-hmm.
Instagram? Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say we have it also on our Facebook, Lowest Places Lost Time on our Facebook.
Okay.
So we've all shared it somewhere. It's somewhere on one of the.
So the GoFundMe is in progress right now. It's active and everything, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So go to GoFundMe, search for Lowest Places. Hope it'll pop right up. I'm going to check it out myself. Yeah. Okay. So once again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. And thanks to everybody's tuning in, to Bridget and Briana. So great having you here today. And yeah. So with that, I'm gonna say good night. And also, this is being recorded, so don't forget, continue to tell your friends. They'll be able to watch it, at various locations, and so keep that in mind too. So there you go. So thanks everybody for
Thank
saying
you,
good night,
Alan.
everybody.
Alan, thank you.
Good night.
Good night.